Welcome to Self Care Sunday. Yes, I'm aware that I'm early. Something came up, and instead of postponing, I wanted to pop on and do the live because it is Self Care Sunday, so I'd like to do it on a Sunday. Um, and yes, almost 95% of the time when I do Self Care Sunday, I look like this because Sunday is my day off, and most of the time I spend it in the garden. Although this week I spent a lot of Saturday in the garden, almost all day. And today I did not. I went for a really long walk with a friend and we harvested some elderberries. So I'm going to be making some, I'm not sure if I'm making a syrup or a tincture, but I will probably do it on my plant-based cooking group. So if you're not in that and you're interested, go head over there. Today, what we're talking about is a question that I asked on social media, and that was, if you knew you could not fail, what would you do? And a lot of people, like, I think this is an Eleanor Roosevelt quote, but I'm not really sure. I know it's a quote that's been around for a really long time, and I don't know if I'm, kind of messing it up and not saying it exactly word for word, but most people do have heard that quote before, but very rarely do people live their life this way. And one of the crazy things is most of your dreams you can have. Most of the things that you want in your life you can create. It's not usually instantaneous, and we are a very instantaneous society, meaning we get instant gratification on most things. So anytime we have to work towards something, it's becoming more and more difficult for us to do that just because we're so used to getting things instantly, including myself. I am very impatient. And so I have to really be very intentional when I want to reach a big goal or a dream. But I am here to tell you that no bullshit, you really can achieve anything that you want. And so the way to start doing this is really by making the statement, writing out what you really want. And a lot of times when I have people do this, like whether it be a coaching client or even myself, even when I do this, you always kind of like limit yourself. You don't even realize you're doing it because it might be something so much bigger than what you're experiencing right now. The goal that you're setting or the dream that you have might be something that feels so out of reach and so far away that you kind of cut it back and you limit it because you're afraid that um, it's not going to happen. So you're kind of protecting yourself, so to speak. And a really fun exercise, one of my favorite exercises, is kind of writing out your dreams. And this is something you could do. Like, I'm going to give you a bunch of journal prompts in here that you could do this week in order to work towards something that you really wanted, especially things that you've been thinking about for a long time but you haven't taken any action towards. I really want you to try this exercise. It can be really powerful. And if you're already in this group, the Self Care Sunday group, I know that you're the type of person that wants to kind of improve themselves. You're the type of person who's always looking to do better for themselves. And so I know that you're already in this state of mind. You're already in the state of mind where you're like, I can improve myself. You already think that there's a possibility. So just the fact that you have this type of thought process is very beneficial to even get started. So if this is something that could be really, really fun, so let's just think of it as that way. So the first thing is to make the statement, what is my dream? What is my goal? And when I do this in any of my programs or in my coaching, I always start out, before even writing goals or dreams down, I always start out a process of acknowledging where your starting point is. Because whenever you're going somewhere, you really need to know where you're starting and then where you're going to, right? Because just like when you're going to, a store that you've never been to before, when you're setting your GPS, you have a starting point and then you have an end point, right? So it's really good to know exactly where you are and acknowledge that. Um, and the reason for that is, like, you may think you know where you are, but sometimes when you're not really paying attention and you're kind of just going through the motions of life, um, it's not completely noticeable sometimes how far you've come already, and acknowledging that is a really important step to reaching any goal, because if you don't learn how to acknowledge yourself and celebrate the wins that you do have, it makes it really hard for you to reach goals. The celebration part is a really big deal. This is what helps you with your motivation. Um, I don't know if you heard that, but my dog just burped right here in my face. He's like right here. He just ate an apple. Where is he? I'm like showing you my crotch. Where is he? He's going the wrong way. I can't get him in the picture. There he is. There he is. Oh, it's apple season, and the apples fall off the tree, and he just ate 2 apples. So, thank you, Max. That was great. Lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train of thought. I'm not sure where I was. Let me just try to regain that. I usually put my dogs away, but I didn't want to. It's a little warm right now in the other room. I didn't want to put them in there. So anyway, I totally lost my train of thought. I'm just going to kind of start where I was. Like I said, usually I have people acknowledge their starting point. So if that's something that you want to do, you could do that. But really, the next step would be writing out the goals and dreams and really looking at it and seeing if you can make it bigger. Like, you want it to be somewhat like a realistic, like, if you're like 70 years old, you don't want to set the goal of becoming president of the United States if you never worked in politics a day in your life or whatever, or you have a record or something like that. So, so within reason, but dream big, because big is available to you. Anything is available to you. So everything that you can imagine, everything that you can dream already exists, because as soon as that thought process starts, you acknowledge that it can exist. And I'm not going to get into quantum physics because I can't talk about it educationally. Like, I don't understand it enough to really talk about it intelligently. Okay, so I'm not really going to get into it. But if you're really interested in understanding how everything that you think about, everything that you acknowledge already exists, then you could really go down a rabbit hole, and you can go start Googling quantum physics and start following a few people who are specialists in that area. I think I love doing that. It makes my brain hurt a little bit, but it's actually a really interesting topic. So you're dreaming big. So write down a few dreams and goals, or maybe you could just focus on one, because I do find that when you're focusing on one thing, you seem to move a lot quicker towards it because you're laser focused, and you could actually, I believe you can achieve more goals faster if you focus on one at a time. Can you please go away and stop doing that? You okay, buddy? I hope that apple isn't too old and get drunk. I'm gonna have a drunk dog. Um, so that's the first process. Um, I swear, sometimes these lives are so interesting when it comes to my dogs. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through some journaling activities that you can do to really work yourself through this. Because the second part of this step is really getting into the mindset of how worthy you are to have this. And some people just like they can't wrap their heads around it. Like, maybe like, well, I didn't work hard enough to get this. I'm not educated enough. I don't have enough experience. I wish that you could see my dog right now. He is just like breathing. He's like right here, breathing so heavy on me. It's so distracting. So we're going to work ourselves into the mindset of what it would be like if this dream was true. So we're going to write this journal prompt. I'm looking at my phone because I have my notes on my phone today. If I had if I reached this goal, if this dream came true, what would I be feeling right now? I'm not talking about the feeling you had the second you achieve it, like that happiness, that excitement. I'm talking about if this was the norm for you, how would you feel in that moment? Would you feel successful? Would you feel capable? Would you feel powerful? Would you feel abundant? Would you feel, I'm trying to think of some other words, content, secure? What would you feel if you had that right now? If that was a regular, normal thing for you, this was the norm. So that's the first exercise. So if you have to pause this video, pause the video and write that down. First you're going to write down my goal, my dream, and then you're going to work on that. You're going to craft it and keep rewriting it until it's freaking fabulous. Make it the best case scenario. Like I said in the post, if you could not fail, what would you go after if you knew you couldn't fail? Okay? Because this is the truth. You can have what you want as long as you don't psych yourself out. Okay, then the second question you're going to write is, if I had this right now, if I was experiencing this in my life and this was a normal everyday thing, what would I be feeling on a day-to-day basis? Would I have super confidence? Would I feel, like how would you feel? So like take the time to really feel into it and then write it down. And sometimes getting into like a really relaxed state before you do this could be really helpful. So just like taking a few deep breaths in and out and like elongating those breaths so that you can really calm yourself down and relax and like tune into the feeling. So like close your eyes and then really think to yourself, how would I feel if I had this in my life right now? What would I be experiencing on a day-to-day basis? Okay? And then write those feelings down. Write them all down. Okay, so here is the next thing. It's kind of a very similar question. So now that this is certain in my life, so this scenario is certain in your life. It's always certain. You could always have it. It's always available to you. What is your inner state of being all the time? So it's not just the feelings. It's also about how you hold yourself, how you walk around in your life. Um, some of the actions that you take, that's going to be the next question actually. But what is your state of being on a regular basis outside of any extraordinary things happening in your life to disrupt your life? What is your state of being on like a daily basis? Do you consistently feel like a confident, capable woman or man? Like how does this make you feel? Does it make you feel almost more powerful? Like, does it make you feel like you can achieve even bigger things, right? So what is your state of being? And now the next thing you're going to do, so that's the third journal entry that you're going to write down. Now the next thing you're going to do is, now that I'm the type of person who has this, and this is my norm, this is my state in being, this is how I feel on a daily basis. You could write all those things down. This is what's going on in my life. What are my daily actions? What do I do on a daily basis to keep this in my life? What do I do on a daily basis? And this is another point where you could really take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and really tune into your heart. An exercise that I do very often with some of my clients when I want them to really tune in and get present is to close their eyes and take a few deep breaths. And then I want you to bring your focus on like your soul, your actual soul, not your physical body or what I call your meat suit. Like, where's your soul? Like, is it outside of you right now, or is your mind wandering, or you're somewhere else, or are you right here in that moment? And kind of like visualize your soul as a little white light, and then bring that white light into your heart space so that you're completely present 100% in your body when you're asking yourself these questions. What are my actions? And if something comes up like, I don't know, I've never even come close to achieving anything like this, you're going to really take a few deep breaths and really tune into it, and then just write whatever comes up, like whatever you think your actions might be. You might not really know, but what comes up? What are the first things that come up before you start doubting yourself, before you start telling yourself that I don't know how to do this? Why would I know what I'm supposed to be doing? Just whatever you think it is. Like whatever you think it is, that's the right answer, okay? And I know that sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but it's not. Whatever you intuitively think, the steps that you need to take on a daily basis. I don't know if you can hear my dog. I'm really sorry. Maybe he ate a bad apple. I'm not really sure. I'm absolutely concerned about this right now. So you're gonna, however long it takes for you to take a few deep breaths and like really bring yourself into your heart center and close your eyes if you have to. Ask yourself the question, take a few deep breaths, and then free write down what the answers are. What do you think? Like if you were that person, what would they be doing on a daily basis to keep yourself in this present moment? Oh my God, I can't go lay down, mister. Mr. Max, go lay down. I'm trying to make a serious video here. Trying to be very serious. Yeah. He just disappeared. I was going to show you. He was resting his head on my knee. Okay. Okay, what's next? What's next? So the next thing that you need to do, and this sounds really simple, so I don't want you to discount it. I want you to really pay attention to this, and I want you to write it down. You're going to write down a statement too, is you just have to decide that you can step into this right now, because you're allowed to have this. You can step into this right now. And if you step into this right now and you start doing the actions right now as much as you can, this is going to change all the things around you, and it's going to bring you closer to what it is you want. This is how you make the changes in your life, big or small, okay? So decide, make your decision that you are that person right now, okay? Step into this version of yourself. You just created that version. You know what you're going to feel like. You know what your inner state is going to be. You know what the actions are that you're going to be taking. You step into that right now on a daily basis. This isn't something you just do once. There he is, the apple eating dog. Okay, he's finally laying down. Thank God. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're stepping into this person now. So you're going to write down, these are my feelings that I'm having. This right here, after that, you're going to write down, this is the state of being I'm in. And these are the things that I do every day. And write them out every single day. Like journal it out every single day, because it's going to change. Because as you start taking action, new things are going to come up. You're going to be like, oh, well, this is what I could, okay, so now I have the other one here. Okay, there she is. I keep giving. I'm so sorry. I feel like I should just start over. Oh my gosh. She didn't even eat apples. I don't know what that was about. I'm not really sure what's going on with my dogs right now. Okay, I'm just going to pet her. Okay, so we're stepping into this version of ourselves. Now, what I just said is very important. So we're doing this exercise right now. This has to be something that's really important to you if you really want to get it. Like, so I want you to do that. This is an exercise that you don't just do once. Like, so there's a lot of things like that out there. Like, whenever you're like very into self-development like I am, and you read all the self-development books and you take all the courses and you do all the things, right? You start to realize that repetition is your friend. Like if you really want to have success with these different practices, repetition is the way to go about doing it. You can't just do this once. You have to do it like every day. You have to step into that version of yourself every single day. All right, you got to start writing this down. Feel into the feelings every single day. Write the feelings down and then close your eyes and visualize yourself in that new reality that you want to be in and feel those feelings, okay? All right. Sorry, I'm having so many not really technical difficulties, just difficulties today. So repeat, repeat, repeat. You got to put it on repeat. You got to just keep doing the exercise. Now, you could do this. So say you want to like test this out. Say you're like, well, I don't believe this, Tina. I don't believe that I could have like my biggest, wildest, craziest dream come true. Like, I don't believe this. Right? Can you please stop licking me? Can you stop? Oh my God. This is a challenge right now. This is some kind of a challenge that I'm having. Here she is, right here. Right. She's such a sweet girl. She really is my sweet girl. Okay, so okay, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought again. I really do feel like I should do this whole video over, but I also think it'd probably be pretty entertaining, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is, especially since it's live. I could always delete it, I guess, but I don't want to. They're really good dogs. They're very sweet. They usually don't bother me when I'm doing this. So, like I said, you have to, in order, like, so that's where I was going. I almost forgot where I was going. So go lay down, please. Go lay down, sweet girl. So say you like, I don't believe that I could have this. I really don't believe it. You could start with a it's kind of like, it's very similar to when your kids are toddlers. I can't imagine props to all the women that do lives that have toddlers running around. I'm sure they probably have someone take care of them or something first. I do usually put my dogs away. It's so distracting. So test it out. Test out this whole journaling exercise with something smaller. You don't think you could have that big thing? Test it out on something smaller, okay? And see how quickly you can make it happen. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you really don't believe and you think it's a crock of shit, like I can't have everything I want. It's definitely a mindset thing. It's 120% a mindset thing, and I could tell you I have not myself mastered this. I don't know if anybody masters this, but you don't have to do things perfectly. And I just want to add that you don't have to be 100% perfect all the time to like step into this. You really just have to be more consistent and repetitive with your actions. And so that's the most important part of this whole thing. The apple dog is back. He's back. They're both there right now, loitering, haunting me. Okay. So what I want to offer you guys is I'm going to be having a new masterclass. It's going to be a free masterclass, okay? It's not going to be this big long sales pitch. Like I do a lot of masterclasses. I told you I love self-development. There's certain coaches that I follow. Any type of masterclass I will do. I don't even mind if they try to sell me something. I will, at the end of the masterclass, offer you something because that's how I make my living, basically. But this masterclass is going to be an incredibly valuable masterclass that's going to walk you through this whole process. Except we're going to start at the very beginning, like I talked about. We're going to talk about acknowledging your starting point, how you can step into this new version of yourself, and like what I call it is claiming your worthiness. That's what I call it. So getting aligned with what you want, writing out your goals, and the best part of this masterclass is writing out your core value statements. Okay, and I'll explain what that is in a moment, and writing out what your why is. So there was a point in time a few minutes ago that I said this has to be important to you if you really want it because you have to be consistent. It has to be something that's very exciting to you. You're inspired to get there. You're motivated, but you have to have a very strong why. Why do you want this? Why do you want this in the first place? What's the deeper meaning? And I have a worksheet that I use that will help you find your why. And I'm going to have a whole workbook for this masterclass, whatever you want to call it, workshop. I'm going to call it a workshop. um, and it's going to be on Zoom. It's not going to be recorded. There's going to be no recording emailed to you because it's going to be the type of workshop that you have to be at because um, I'm going to be coaching each person all together. We're going to be doing this together and we're going to be working into our core value statements. Now, what our core value statements are is at the beginning of this masterclass, I will be doing, I don't know whether to call it a masterclass or a workshop. I'm sorry, I'm switching back and forth. It's the same free class that I'm going to do for you guys. So at the beginning, we're going to be doing an assessment, the way I start anything that I do, any private coaching I do, any class that I teach, any online program I have, I start with the same assessment. And it's about seeing where you're out of balance in your life. And I'll talk about that a little bit, but then we're going to set core value statements for every area of your life. And what a core value statement is what is important to you and you only. This is not for your family, this is not for your spouse, this is not what society expects from you. It's your core value statement is what you want to experience in that area of your life. And the areas of life are like physical fitness, health, relationships. So you have your romantic relationship, you have your friendships, you have your family relationships, you have your home environment, you have your self-development, you have I'm trying to think, your spirituality. Okay, so there's all these different areas of your life, and you're going to kind of like grade yourself on how you're feeling in that area, and then you're going to write a core value statement that's going to explain exactly, it's not a goal, okay, it's exactly how you want to feel and experience that area in your life. So it's kind of like on the edge of a goal or a dream, but it's really like an overall like experience. It would be kind of like you're a statement that a company makes to tell you what their company is all about. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have a core value. We're going to write out core value statements, and I'm going to personally help you write out these statements. I'm going to give you examples, and we're going to write them out. And if you want to share them, we can share them. And sharing them is really important because you can really kind of spur some creativity in other people and get some ideas for yourself to help you write out your core value statements. I will share mine with you so that you'll know exactly what my core value statements are. I might rewrite mine because this is something that you could do over and over again. They're going to change over time because you change over time, you grow over time. So I'm going to help you do that, and then we're going to go through the whole process of these journaling prompts that I just gave you. And you're going to come away from this workshop slash masterclass. You're going to come away, you're going to know exactly where you're starting. You're going to know exactly the direction you're going in, and you're going to know the steps that you need to take. You're going to know how you're going to feel. You're going to know how you need to be, and you're going to move in the direction of those goals and dreams. Okay, so I call it a jump start. That's what I call it because it's a starting point for you to work towards where you want to go. But in order to get to where you wanted to go, you would have to kind of keep working towards that. It could take 3 months, it could take 1 month, it could take 3 years. It depends on the goal, right? It depends on what you're working towards. So this is the jump start. This is the jump start you need. So if you've been feeling like stuck or you have a goal and you've been afraid to pursue it, this is the jump start. This is like how you get going and get on a roll. And I'm hoping that it could really inspire a lot of people to start doing big things in their life because everybody can. Everybody can. And so I'm going to put, I don't have like a registration for this workshop yet. What I'm going to do is give you a link where you could put your name on the wait list. And as soon as I decide the date when I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try to do this at a time and a day when people can be available, because like I said, there's no recording. Okay, you have to show up live. It's probably going to be over an hour, and there will be breaks that you could take. Okay, so it's going to be probably, I bet, like 90 minutes, I'm guessing. Depends on how many people are there. And I might put a cap on how many people because I won't be able to coach, because I want to be kind of like working like one-on-one with a bunch of people. I won't be able to coach a lot of people all at once. So I'm probably going to put a cap on it. But I don't know how many. I have to think about it a little longer. So this is just put your name on the wait list so that you get notified when the registration opens so you could register. And if it's really popular, I'll do more than one. I'll do it more than once for sure if it's popular. So I'm excited about doing this with you. I feel like it's a really good way if you've been watching my videos for a while, if you've been on my page, my Facebook pages, or in my groups for a while, or maybe you listen to the podcast. This is a good way for you to really get to know me and learn about how I work with people. So it's a really good starting point for you guys. So I will put that link in the comments below, but in the meantime, you have this exercise to work on. And even if you plan on doing the workshop slash masterclass, I don't know what to call it yet, even if you do plan on doing that, I would still go through this process because, like I said, repeat, repeat, repeat. You have to keep doing it for it to come about. And then when you go into the masterclass with me, you can really, really have way more clarity. You could really dig down deep and go, like, we're going to find your why. We're going to write out your core value statements. You can have really decisive, you're going to be very intentional about what direction you're moving in. So I really look forward to, I hope that you do this with me. It'd be so much fun. And I really look forward to like kind of talking with some of you on a more of a one-to-one basis and getting to know you. And when I do the master class, my dogs will be in the other room for sure. I promise you that. Okay, I hope that you have a good rest of your Sunday. I'm glad I kept this just under 30 minutes. I was trying to do that. I didn't want to go too long. I love you, and I will see you next time. I'll be sending out a recording of this video through the email, also with the link to the workshop, so you'll have it there too if you're on my email list. If you're not on my email list, just send me a message. I'll put you on there, okay? Talk soon. Bye.